Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, Cool and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lauren Frey, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, what's been happening in the world of censor shitters, the group of people who aggressively accuse Nintendo of censoring all their games? Well, they've still been trying to keep up the narrative that, like, oh man, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has been censored. They're preventing games from getting released on the eShop. There's all these big like conspiracies that kind of surface that really do feel as if it's just a lazy bunch of viral marketers trying to like rehash decade-old ideas. Oh man, Nintendo, you don't want to support them. They censor their games. Oh, if you want the real shit, if you want sexy games, oh, you're gonna have to go to Steam. You're going to have to go to PlayStation. You're going to have to go to Xbox. That's where you can get the Dead or Alive Extreme 3s with extra large titties with a side of lesbian action. Like that's the narrative that's been very pervasive over the past couple of years, even with games on other consoles getting toned down sexually. That has been the trend I've been noticing in recent years, is that no one seems to have noticed or cared that games on other platforms have been getting toned down while Nintendo is putting out shit like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Okay, like it's weird to me, the double standards, and I think this is a particularly blatant example of it. Let's see. Probably shouldn't have closed the tab. Okay. Chaos Head Noah. I don't know what this game is. I think it's like some kind of hentai shit or whatever. There's some like basically what happened is that Steam recently updated their guideline change. Updated their guidelines and somehow Spike Chunsoft's new game that people were going to play on PC is suddenly not available on Steam. The developer, the publisher that essentially owns a monopoly on PC game distribution. I've seen like people in this very thread try and downplay the fact that Steam has a monopoly, but they absolutely do. They absolutely do. So basically what this means is that games on PC will essentially be censored, are essentially being censored. And What interested me about this story is that it's only affecting the Steam version. Please rest assured the Nintendo Switch version is not affected and released on October 7th, 2022 as scheduled. So we are seeing a situation where a game is not coming out on Steam for being too raunchy or being too, inappropriate for the children on Steam, while the Nintendo Switch, the console for babies, is getting this game as planned. Now, the reason I'm talking about this, the reason I'm so angry about this, I don't care about the game. I don't care about like the censorship. I've been very adamant about that. I really don't care about localization changes in and of themselves. The issue here is the weird double standard, right? Like whenever Nintendo puts out a game, any game, there's this weird agenda to kind of paint this narrative that like Nintendo is, oh man, is this game going to get censored? Is this game going to get toned down? And that's never really the case. But meanwhile, on these other platforms, on games that are getting toned down, you don't really see, or not released at all on certain demographics, you don't get anything at all. You don't get any backlash. You don't get any controversy. You don't get any conspiracies. And again, this is the amusing thing about this, is that, like, again, the Nintendo Switch version of this particular release is not being affected. It wasn't that long ago that another game, I think there's a hentai developer who's releasing games on Switch, the Massage Freak guys. From what I understand, they fabricated that story, that Nintendo was like not allowing them to release the game on the eShop in order to like drum up sales and interest in their mediocre product, right? That's my understanding of the situation. We are getting to the point where companies are trying to use the pretendo narrative, the censorship narrative to their benefit. And I really don't know where it came from, because Nintendo has never been particularly censor happy. It's a narrative that I think was conceived in the PlayStation era, as games were tackling stronger subjects, people were suddenly, oh man, you have to look at a girl's ass in Metal Gear Solid in order to identify her. Like that's I don't know, that kind of thing had this image of being like mature, something that Nintendo would never do, even though like Conker's Bad Fur Day came out like in 2001. Again, we've seen there's no real indication that that's ever been true, like really. And the fact that this myth has like persisted for so long is ridiculous, especially in this era where like everything is getting censored for whatever reason. Again, we'll have to. Again, there is like a legit discussion on like what should and shouldn't be changed in localization, because I do absolutely think that like I am a supporter of localized products. I do like certain things being changed. Like I do support the Vivian change in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door of being a biological female. Like there are legitimately good localization changes that make sense, that suit the culture and like the demographics. Like there are things that I like, okay, like that are localized. I don't have a problem with them changing things like that. But again, this isn't about the censorship. It really isn't. This is a method to attack Nintendo. It always has been. Otherwise, people do not notice or care.